Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamu alaikum and welcome to this special show of Newsroom. I'm your host Omar Khalid. But this show is special. Why? Because it talks on two important topics: the Pakistan-China collaboration and, of course, the China-Pakistan economic corridor that is the flagship project of the Belt and Road Initiative. The CPEC has completed 10 years. And we are looking forward to the second phase of the CPEC, under which a lot of important developments are going to take place. China has said time and again that it is going to be on Pakistan's side and will help Pakistan stabilize itself, and the CPEC is just one of those examples. I'll refer to what Xi Jinping said recently. He said, since its launch in 2013, China and Pakistan have been advancing CPEC under the principle of extensive consultation, joint contribution, and shared benefits, and have achieved a number of early harvests. To talk about those early harvests, what we should be looking forward to in the second phase of the CPEC, we will be having guests on our side, but of course we also have our Chinese side that is represented by the CGTN. I'll now toss over to my co-anchor for this show from CGTN. His name is Yang Chengxi. Yang, over to you.
Thank you, Omar, and hello from Beijing, China. I'm Yang Chengxi with CGTN. Pakistan is one of China's most important partners globally, with deep ties through initiatives like the China-Pakistan Economic Corridor and the Belt and Road Initiative. In 2023, our CGTN team had the opportunity to visit Pakistan to witness firsthand the vitality of the economy and society. Instead of flying from Beijing to Islamabad, we decided to make the journey extra meaningful by taking a road trip along the world's highest paved road, the Karakoram Highway, which connects Pakistan with China.
These Pakistani businessmen are buying bus tickets home near the border in China. The local customs chief showed me some of their products waiting for clearance: rock salt, gemstones, and carpets. And when the traders return, they always bring back loads of stuff they bought in China, which means luggage space is a valuable resource on this only twice-a-day cross-border bus.
This is taking forever.
What do you do here?
Trading.
Stones.
Yeah. Stones. China government is very corporate. Is making roads, KKH roads.
Yeah.
Big way,
Soon, we reach the border, called the Kumjura Pass, which is also the highest point of the Karakoram Highway at over 4,700 meters above sea level. Interestingly, that makes this legendary ATM machine the highest one in the whole world. After the crossing, I felt something different, even though the scenery remained largely unchanged. I couldn't quite put a finger on it until...
It took me a while to realize that we're driving on the left side of the road.
A result of the British colonial history. As we ventured deeper into Pakistan, our conversations got more serious.
There was a big flood in Pakistan last year.
Big flood, yeah.
Yeah. How has that affected you and your family?
Oh, too much.
Too much? How?
Load shedding, Every year, every month, every day.
Pakistan has a chronic electricity deficit. The causes are manifold, but a major flood along the Indus River and its tributaries in 2022 that affected about a third of the country had exacerbated the already serious power problem. Many cooperation projects from China in Pakistan are power plants, which provide nearly a quarter of the electricity supplied to Pakistan at the peak. But still, there's much room for improvement.
Pakistan immigration.
Sust. We reach Sust. China, ni hao. Thank you. From Pakistan, Adnan.
We switched cars and continued on the Karakoram Highway, looking for more stories from the locals.
North Pakistan is where three of the world's greatest mountain ranges meet: the Karakoram, the Hindu Kush, and the Himalayas. These mountains present great grandeur, but they also signal a somewhat ominous fact. This is a geologically active area.
For example, this is the Adabad Lake. It looks absolutely beautiful, but it wasn't here before 2010. We talked to Yusuf, a local.
So what happened here in 2010?
1月4号
On January 4th, 2010, a landslide occurred here, which killed 19 people. The Karakoram Highway was then underwater due to the landslide forming a barrier lake. The lake was about 26 kilometers long and more than 100 meters deep at the time. Our people could only use wooden boats to commute across the lake.
危险。
At first, the Chinese construction company commissioned for the highway waited for the water to subside, but that didn't happen.
后面是我们那个中国路桥
Later, the China Road and Bridge Corporation built a road and tunnels around it.
路修了隧道。
Yusuf said the locals had managed to make the most of an otherwise tragic situation.
I see there are a lot of new restaurants and shops here.
以前在这啥都没有了。
There was nothing here before. Now, as you see, so many new hotels have been built. With more tourists, the local people have had the opportunity to make money. All these boats below are for rent for tourists.
可以租出去。
Some of you might have noticed, Yusuf speaks fluent Chinese. He's now a translator for the China Road and Bridge Corporation. After many rounds of upgrades, the Karakoram Highway is now much safer and more efficient.
So we've arrived in Islamabad, the capital of Pakistan, the end of the Karakoram Highway.
I talked to the local team of the highway's builder, the China Road and Bridge Corporation, stationed in this city, about their continued projects in Pakistan.
喀拉昆仑公路
Since 2015, we started building a 118-kilometer second phase of the Karakoram Highway. Despite the pandemic and engineering difficulties, the highway successfully opened in July 2020.
The journey along the Karakoram Highway was truly unique. With increasing trade between China and Pakistan, the Kunjurap Pass, which previously closed from December to April, is to open year-round following an agreement between the two countries. Additional infrastructure is expected to be built at the border to increase crossing efficiency. In Pakistan, various joint projects are being developed to boost connectivity and trade, from the mountainous Gilgit to the Gwadar port in Balochistan. Gwadar is a key component of the China-Pakistan economic corridor, featuring a multifunctional port with significant capacity and a surrounding free trade area spanning 900 hectares. The development of the Gwadar International Airport further aims to streamline business operations in the area.
In March 2019, Gwadar inaugurated its new international airport, which is now nearing completion. Experts believe CPEC is committed to people-centric progress, foreseeing the airport as a vital link connecting Gwadar with the global arena.
Once the airport will be constructed and it will be completed and it will be operational, then it will of course bring a lot of development over here, because the cross-border trade will be started.
Managed by the China Airport Construction Group, the airport spans 18 square kilometers and will be the second largest in Pakistan. China has supported Pakistan in realizing the new Gwadar International Airport project through Chinese grant assistance.
This is a very precious experience for me. The Chinese team work very close with local people, and we spare no efforts, work day and night trying to complete this project in time. And we have overcome a lot of difficulties, like you see the weather, the environment, and the short of water, electricity. I've seen a lot of people. They're working very, very hard. That also inspired me and encouraged me.
This airport development is an integral component of Balochistan's overall infrastructure enhancement, designed as a state-of-the-art greenfield facility ensuring operational safety, passenger comfort and convenience.
The milestone marks a substantial step forward in the progress of CPEC, showcasing the joint efforts of China and Pakistan in driving infrastructure development and economic growth in the region.
The Pakistan Civil Aviation Authority acquired land for the project situated 26 kilometers east of Gwadar city. An essential link to the airport is the East Bay Expressway, a 6-lane 19-kilometer expressway funded by the Chinese government, connecting the airport and the free zone to the national highway network that will provide seamless logistics for import, export, and transit goods.
This is the passenger terminal building. Right now we are standing here. That the apron is completed, and these aprons accommodate 5 aircrafts.
Spanning 4,300 acres, the airport site includes a runway capable of accommodating large aircraft. The project includes a modern terminal building spanning 14,000 square meters. With an estimated cost of $246 million, the airport is scheduled for completion in mid-2024. This development not only signifies a new era for air travel in Pakistan, but also reinforces the enduring partnership between China and Pakistan. Danial Khan, CGTN, Gwadar.
Apart from major economic projects, China has also supported initiatives that directly benefit the local population in Gwadar. This includes an all-girl middle school within the local community and a seawater desalination project aimed at addressing water scarcity. Here's more about the desalination plant.
Gwadar is a place that had long struggled with a shortage of clean drinking water. The town's only water supply was hundreds of kilometers away in Turbat. But now, thanks to the China-Pakistan economic corridor, Gwadar has seen a transformation. A desalination plant built by China is providing much-needed relief to the local population.
The state-of-the-art desalination facility, built and funded by the Chinese government, now serves as a crucial lifeline. Ever since China has started development work in Gwadar, the lives of the locals have improved significantly. They have provided us with electricity, road infrastructure, and also clean drinking water, which was one of the biggest necessities of the locals. The plant has been a game changer for the locals who used to face a constant struggle for clean water.
It has a capacity of 1.2 million gallons per day. So that makes around 1/5 of the Gwadar's total water needs. So this can fulfill the water needs of the city, and it can lessen the water scarcity by 1/5.
The Gwadar desalination plant is a beacon of cooperation between China and Pakistan, utilizing cutting-edge technology to solve Gwadar's water crisis.
The plant is a crucial element of the broader effort to develop Gwadar into a high-quality port, a regional trade center, and an interconnected hub.
I've seen Gwadar before CPEC and I've seen Gwadar after CPEC, so I can see a remarkable change. Or I think if I would say that that's a transformation, so that would not be an overstatement.
The China-Pakistan Economic Corridor Initiative is reshaping Gwadar into a pivotal maritime center, not only for Pakistan, but for the entire region. The desalination plant is just one piece of this broader vision, and the town is witnessing substantial progress in infrastructure development, including roads, railways, and the expansion of Gwadar Port. Danial Khan, CGTN, Gwadar.
Finally, earlier this year, as part of an agricultural cooperation project under the China-Pakistan Economic Corridor, 182 tons of dried chili peppers from Pakistan were received in China's Sichuan province. In Chengdu, Sichuan's capital, my CGTN colleague Liu Yang interviewed Khalil Hashmi, the newly appointed ambassador of Pakistan to China. Ambassador Hashmi shared his insights on the future prospects of the two countries' collaborations.
We have seen that successive Pakistani governments have supported and participated in the Belt and Road Initiative. What will be the priorities for Pakistan's cooperation with China going forward?
Both Pakistan and China celebrated the 10th anniversary of Belt and Road Initiative, but more specifically also China-Pakistan Economic Corridor. Our Prime Minister participated in the third Belt and Road Forum that was held in October. In the past 40 years, China has achieved unprecedented social, economic progress, and it has empowered its people, it has raised their living standards. China has invested nearly $26 billion US. As a result, we have added 8,800 megawatts of electricity in our, in our national grid. This is what we have achieved, and in the process, more than 230,000 jobs were created.
What's your response to the view put forward by the United States and some other Western countries describing the BRI as a debt trap?
Of course, I consider it as a political ploy, an opinion which is not backed up by facts or objective realities. It is only a political position to try and undermine an excellent development program that has been initiated by China for the welfare and for the prosperity, for sharing prosperity with developing countries. So until I see facts, I am not prepared to buy that argument. In fact, I would argue that this is BRI or CPEC is an enabler of economic development, economic growth.
The relationship between China and Pakistan is often described as iron brother, reflecting its deep historical roots in the ancient Silk Road traditions and continued through modern cooperation projects. The bilateral relationship is now entering a new phase of high-quality development, broadening collaborations in technology, sustainability, agriculture, as well as social well-being. This is Chengxi from CGTN, and now over to you, Omar, in the studio.
Thank you very much, Yang Chengxi, to have given us your and your guests' perspective as far as China-Pakistan Economic Corridor and Pak-China relations are concerned. Now let's come to our side of the horizon or the CPEC or the point of view as far as this very important flagship project is concerned. We've been joined by two important guests. Let me introduce them to you one by one. On my very right is Dr. Fazal Rehman. He is serving as Senior Research Fellow at Islamabad Policy Research Institute and also is the Executive Director of the Pakistan Council of China, which is a forum and think tank established in 2012, which focuses on China studies and Pak-China relations. Thank you very much, sir, to have joined us. Our second guest is Dr. Talat Shabbir. He is the Director of China-Pakistan Study Center at the Institute of Strategic Studies, Islamabad. He oversees research and advocacy on all the facets of Pak-China relations. And of course, his research areas include Pakistan, South Asia, the Belt and Road Initiative, CPEC, and Pak-China relations. Thank you very much, Dr. Talat, to have joined us. Let's begin with you, Dr. Fazal Rehman. But before we go to our guests, I'd like to point out towards a very interesting report that was produced by the CGTN. And it concerns a hospital. Now, established as part of the China-Pakistan Economic Corridor, the Pak-China Friendship Hospital in the port city of Gwadar symbolizes the two countries' deep-rooted friendship. The foundation stone for the advanced medical facility was laid as back as 2020. 3 years later, CGTN correspondent Daniel Khan visited the hospital as it prepares to receive its first patients. Here it is.
The Pak-China Friendship Hospital will be operational in December 2023.
China and Pakistan has a long history of friendship. In the course of a BRI initiative, China wants to invest in a hospital in Gwadar to benefit local people.
Just days before its formal inauguration, I got an exclusive opportunity to visit the 150-bed state-of-the-art facility.
The Pak-China Friendship Hospital is equipped with modern facilities and advanced medical technology, ensuring that residents of Gwadar and the surrounding areas have access to high-quality health care.
Essential healthcare services were previously limited in the region, and experts say the new hospital will serve as a lifeline for those in need and will surely have an impact on the lives of the people in Gwadar.
This hospital is equipped with state-of-the-art equipment. The construction is beautiful, it is magnanimous, and it will serve the purpose for the next 25 years maybe. The people of this area, they are having a lot of respect for the Chinese people, and same goes for us. We are also very thankful to them that they have provided us this state-of-the-art hospital, healthcare facility.
China's Ministry of Commerce sponsored the project that cost an estimated $30.5 million and covers an area of 8 acres. From emergency services to specialized medical treatments, the hospital can cater to a wide range of health needs, addressing both common ailments and complex medical conditions. Beyond its direct impact on healthcare, the hospital is expected to have positive economic effects for Gabadar, like employment opportunities, also encouraging local businesses that contribute to the overall socio-economic development of the area. Experts say the progress made in healthcare cooperation will not only benefit the immediate community, but also strengthen the foundation of a healthier and more prosperous future for Gabadar and its residents. Daniel Khan, CGTN, Gabadar.
Welcome back. You're watching a newsroom special which is concentrating on the China-Pakistan Economic Corridor and the 10 years of this very important flagship project. Let me begin our conversation with our guests on this side of the border, and our first guest, of course, is Dr. Fazal Rehman. Dr. Saab, the expression deeper than the oceans, higher than the mountains, sweeter than honey has been very routinely used to describe the relationship between Pakistan and China. How has the China-Pakistan Economic Corridor supported this slogan?
Well, I think certainly there is a background to all these cliches which are being used to describe Pakistan-China relationship, and there is a long history of bilateral relations and the testing times that the two countries have stood by each other during those testing times. And I think it's not at all out of place to suggest all these things to describe Pakistan-China relations. And as far as CPEC is concerned, I think China, when announced Belt and Road Initiative, CPEC was technically signed 1 month before the signing of or announcement of the BRI. So that shows that there has been more deeper understanding based on our traditional friendship that led us to creation of this CPEC, which became eventually part of the BRI as a flagship project of the BRI. So I think that it's very much reflective of this traditional relationship, that traditional friendship that the two countries have been enjoying. And I think that the progress on CPEC has been one of the demonstration of this special relationship, special friendship that both the countries have indulged into constructing this specific corridor for the benefit of the two countries. And I think that this is going to go a long way. It's a long-term project, and Pakistan and China both will stand to benefit from this.
All right. Dr. Talat, Shabbir, how, in your point of view, has CPEC transformed Pakistan's infrastructure, economic landscape? What, in your point of view, are the economic implications of this CPEC logistics and trade hubs such as the Gwadar port in Pakistan?
When you go back to 2013 and 2014, when CPEC was initiated, we see that there was a very trying time for Pakistan. There was a lot of terrorism going on in our country. A lot of investment was actually on when, because not only that we had a decrease in investment FDIs in those times. China was the country who came to our help, who came to rescue with a big bang like CPEC. So we had problems with regards to energy shortages. We had problems of infrastructure. Whenever you want to look at industrial development of a country, you have to see energy and logistics, and for logistics you need to have infrastructure. So infrastructure and energy were the two main pillars, first two pillars on which the CPEC was built. And today, when 10 years later, we see there's a lot of we can count on a lot of infrastructure built, like around and similarly energy needs have been met, and there's a lot of energy, more than 10,000 megawatt has been put into national grid, which has actually resolved our energy problems. So these first two pillars, which were very important to boost our industry, were in the first phase of CPEC. So 10 years later, we see a lot of improvement, and I think we can rightly be proud of what we have achieved in CPEC. So when we talk of implications, for example, one of the important thing was job creation that we expected from CPEC, and as I speak, nearly 200,000 jobs, direct or indirect, have been created because of CPEC, and a lot more job creation potential is there the moment we move forward with industrial development and relocation of industry, which is phase 2. And of course, looking at the fourth component, third component was industry, fourth component was Gwadar. We see our airport coming up in Gwadar, and it is going to be operationalized soon, and which is going to be the Asia's biggest, largest airport. So I think there's going to be a lot of activity in Gwadar in coming months that we see, and all this has been possible because of CPEC.
All right, Dr. Fazal Rehman, Dr. Talat pointed out towards energy as being one of the key pillars of CPEC. I'd like to point out towards the 14 power high generation projects with a total installed capacity of 8,020 megawatts and one HVDC transmission line with evacuation capacity of 4,000 megawatts that have achieved their commercial operation. I'd like to understand more on how CPEC has transformed the energy landscape as far as Pakistan is concerned.
Well, actually, if you, as Dr. Talat has mentioned, if you look at the energy situation in 2013, 2014, most of our industries were shutting down because of the lack of supply of electricity, and there were no new industries which were put up, because of this factor. So this was a major handicap as far as the industrial growth of Pakistan was concerned. So at that point in time, this energy sector was identified as a priority number 1, and like 14 projects, as you have mentioned, have been identified to be constructed under CPEC. And those projects have, sort of added to our national grid after during the last 10 years, and they have really turned about the energy situation in Pakistan. Besides that, there had been some cleaner energy also in terms of solar power and in terms of wind power. So this energy input from CPEC into the national grid has really boosted the confidence of the investors into industrial sector, and besides that, overall situation of energy in Pakistan has improved, and that has been a very crucial factor as far as Pakistan's overall development was concerned. So we have been able to achieve not only stabilize our industrial sector, but at the same time across the nation, across the country, we have been able to provide electricity, which is now requirement of sort of not only every household, but sort of every walk of life is largely depending on this energy.
Dr. Talat, Shabbir, China says it is ready to work with Pakistan to upgrade the China-Pakistan economic corridor and accelerate the building of an even closer China-Pakistan community with a shared vision and a shared future in the new era. What kind of an upgrade should we expect in the coming years?
Like what we, if we go back again, there were 4 pillars of CPEC when we started. Like it was industrialization, it was energy, it was infrastructure, it was Gwadar. So, and when we look at the timeline, there was a timeline 2018, 2020, 2025 and 2030, which is now the deadline for completion of CPEC projects. I think even if we are lacking in attaining the time frame, as long as we are in the right direction, I think it's okay. Such a gigantic project may have some problems with regard to meeting the timeline. But what is expected of both the countries, and I think I've seen a resolve in both the countries' leadership that they want to push on with the existing projects of CPEC. They want to push on the projects so that the fruits of these projects reach to the masses as soon as possible. And in some areas we see that the trickle-down effect has already started. But since it's a gigantic project, and we had a very bad spell of COVID for 2 years in the past, that actually impeded the progress of CPEC. And we can say that apart from COVID, there was slight capacity building required on our part, which was actually done beforehand when we were embarking on such a big project. But I think both the countries have resolved to complete the projects which are underway, and the projects in the pipeline they also are working on those projects, and the biggest aim of these projects is socio-economic dividends that they expect from these projects, and those dividends are reaching to the people of Pakistan. And for example, if Pakistan is looking at job creation, Pakistan is looking at prosperity, Pakistan is looking at industrial development, Pakistan is looking at expansion of are export based. So I think CPEC provides many of its solutions. And recent fourth meeting of joint working group actually has shown this resolve, reflects the resolve of both countries that they both want to push on with the projects of CPEC, and they want that they should be completed as soon as possible in order for its fruits reaching to the people of Pakistan.
Dr. Fazal Rehman, Dr. Talat pointed to challenges. Let me ask a bit more as far as the challenges are concerned. What have been the potential challenges in your point of view as far as China-Pakistan economic corridor is concerned? And of course, I'd like to add to it the narrative being developed about CPEC being a debt trap, then the persistent propaganda campaign also in certain parts of the media about the CPEC or the BRI being expansionist projects. What is your point of view on it?
I think BRI is not at all an expansionist project. It's a connectivity project, and in centuries there is for the first time that such kind of a global initiative has been initiated from an Asian country, and I think this is something which is very unique, and we should really take pride in that our neighboring country China has launched this project, and this project is for the benefit of the rest of the world in terms of connectivity, in terms of ease of trade, in terms of building infrastructure into especially the countries of the south where the infrastructure has been lacking, and there is an infrastructural gap actually that needs to be bridged in order to bring them at par with the north. So I think that this is a very unique and very sort of far-sighted project in terms of development of overall global economic system, and I think that sort of this initiative doesn't pose any challenges. The challenges are somehow sort of created in regional context or in domestic context. As far as challenges to CPEC are concerned, I think primarily we can divide these challenges into two areas. One is the external challenges. External challenges are the opposition of the hostile countries towards CPEC, which are trying to create problem and trying to make this project sort of not to succeed. So they sort of we see activities of sabotage, activities of terrorist attacks, and such kind of activities which can impair the smooth working or smooth implementation of CPEC. The other challenges are from within, and I think those are somewhat technical challenges in terms of sort of our own interministerial coordination, in terms of our own taking ownership of certain projects, in terms of implementing sort of our part of the deal sort of in time, in terms of facilitation of the Chinese companies to come and invest and things like that. So these challenges can be very easily overcome, and I think that with the passage of time most of these challenges will be overcome, but certainly the Chinese are much more concerned about the security aspect of the situation, and I think that the security situation is not really that bad. And somehow the security element has been exaggerated or blown out of proportion. Security challenges are everywhere, sort of in present day world. So I think that we should try to woo the Chinese investors to come and invest in Pakistan, and also the latest meeting sort of have identified that we should also invite like international actors also to come and play their due role in CPEC.
All right. Now, speaking of the latest meeting, let's talk about it. Dr. Shabbir, the fourth meeting of the CPEC Joint Working Group in International Cooperation and Coordination was held on the 21st of January this year. What has been the significance of this meeting in your point of view, because it was held after a couple of years, and what were the outcomes, and what kind of implications will it have for the future of CPEC and Pak-China relations?
It's very important to analyze the content of the meeting. For the first of all, the meeting actually concentrated on CPEC, and it was a kind of a review of what transpired in last 10 years. There's a small component of the meeting in which our institute was also involved, because the think tank cooperation that we have with the Kicker, a think tank based in Beijing. We also discussed very important issues with regards to CPEC, regional situation, security, and future of CPEC. So I think it was a comprehensive meeting between the leadership of two countries, and the CPEC projects were reviewed,
And international cooperation was also viewed like, as Dr. Fazal Rehman mentioned, that there is a, clearly mentioned that there's a third-party participation prospects are also highlighted in the meeting, minutes of the meeting, that if a country other than Pakistan and China, since it's a bilateral project, so if a country other than Pakistan and China also wishes to invest in CPEC projects, it is very much possible for any country to come and invest in this, provided both the countries agree to what is being what area is being chosen by the third party. So I think it was very fruitful meeting, and the important thing was that it reflected a resolve of the two countries with regards to pushing on on with CPEC. And the most importantly, wherever we go, people ask, it's the CPEC has slowed down, probably China is having second thought about CPEC. So this meeting reflected that Pakistan and China are on one page about CPEC, and both countries would like this project, this big project between two countries be pushed as far as possible, and they want to see it as a success.
All right, the next question I'm going to pose to the both of you, and I'd like your answer on that. Our caretaker Prime Minister, while being interviewed by CGTN, our partner for this very important show, said, and I quote, "We have already achieved the CPEC's first phase and we are benefiting from its early harvest projects. We are entering the second phase. We do need more deliberations when it comes to the second phase." He also said the CPEC second phase required road and air connectivity around industrialization projects. My question to the both of you, beginning with you, Dr. Fazal Rehman, is how would you view the first decade of the CPEC? What have been the major achievements, and what is the outlook for the next decade? And what is Pakistan exactly looking forward to as far as this is concerned? Has it assumed center stage in this relationship and in this project? I'll start with you, Dr. Fazal Rehman.
I think definitely CPEC has taken the central stage in Pakistan-China bilateral relations, and everything which is part of our traditional bilateral cooperation, collaboration is now directly or indirectly is connected to CPEC. And I think in the last 10 years, the results or the outcome of CPEC projects has been kind of a mix, in which on some areas there has been satisfactory progress, but on some other areas there has been not so satisfactory progress. So in terms of energy, in terms of infrastructure, in terms of developing deeper understanding how to go about sort of for the future projects, how to enter into the second phase, I think all those things have been achieved. But I think there has been some slackness in terms of creating special economic zones, because if you remember, here at our end we have had a very different understanding of the special economic zones. We began with creating 29, and then came down to 19, and then to 9, and eventually now we are constructing 4 special economic zones. So that shows the kind of our understanding of the special economic zones, because this is kind of a new area. These are not industrial states that we are used to in the past that we have created in the country, but this is something which is a very different concept, and this concept is being brought in from our Chinese friends, and we have to actually work very hard in terms of making all these special industrial zones successful. Reason being that this will largely reflect on the success of CPEC, because special industrial zones is an area which are going to create the jobs, which are going to bring in technology, which are going to absorb the relocation of labor intensive industry from China. So these are going to be very primary source of success of CPEC, at the same time a very primary source of overall industrial productivity. So we have to really put special emphasis on these. As far as the second phase is concerned, I think in second phase we are going to concentrate more on technological side, on scientific cooperation. In terms of agricultural cooperation, tourism is a very big and huge segment in which the two countries can collaborate and cooperate. Education is another one, and at the same time there are social development projects which could be possibly undertaken under CPEC, which can enhance the people's, now because the infrastructure is already in place, so they can enhance people's sort of livelihood in terms of producing, in terms of taking things from the producing area to the market and things like that. So there are several new opportunities which are going to come up in the second phase.
All right, Dr. Talat, Shabbir, first phase, second phase, what is Pakistan looking forward to now, and has it assumed center stage now with the second phase?
As Dr. Fazal mentioned, the first two components like energy and infrastructure, a lot has been done. And basically that infrastructure, first two components were to support the third component, that was industry. And we are rightly pinning a lot of hopes to industrial development because we expect a lot of job creation. We expect a lot of exports to enhance because of this industrialization phase. And the actually regional connectivity, which is one of the big aims of CPEC, is through industrialization, because industrial development, exports will connect us with the regions. So I think China and Pakistan both are looking at this component of the CPEC. Now, but in order for having this phase as a success, I think we need to do, and our Chinese friends also realize that there's a lot to be done in this area, because we have not been able to actually grasp, as Dr. rightly mentioned, that concept of special economic zone. Special economic zone is basically a facility for industries to locate themselves and carry out production of various products and make them exportable. And energy infrastructure, infrastructure of a special economic zone is very important in order for things to be produced at a rate which is compatible to the world, in order for us to enhance our exports. So there's a lot of deliberation being carried out on industrialization phase, and we expect in near future, that a lot of industries to relocate in our country. But I think there's a very important point that we need to make enabling environment in order for our industries to come to Pakistan. Like, enabling environment means there has to be proper infrastructure for industries to work. There should be plug and play kind of arrangement in the industrial zones. There should be facilitation in the industrial zone in our long lengthy NOCs processes that we have. We need to create enabling environment for Chinese industries or elsewhere. Now we are talking of third-party participation. They would only invest in this country if we make environment in our country very enabling for them to come and invest.
All right, Dr. Fazal Rehman, my question has two parts, and I'd like your point of view on that. Caretaker Prime Minister Anwar Kagar says that we need to further strengthen and benefit from the ecosystem of doing trade with one another. My first part of the question is, what should be the outlines to further strengthen and broaden this ecosystem under the ambit of the China-Pakistan Economic Corridor? Secondly, I'd also like to understand the fact that to build upon CPEC's success, it is crucial to deepen cooperation between the two countries with joint research, technology transfer and skill development program. What milestones have been achieved in this regard?
Well, I think so far, sort of the understanding has been achieved between the two sides in order to create more eco-friendly, trade system in which the sources of production and the communication and other elements which are associated with this should be within the framework of kind of eco-friendly environment. Certainly, I think technology transfer and scientific cooperation and joint research in several areas is required. And I think the two sides have already started this process, especially in terms of agriculture, especially in terms of advanced information technology basis. The two countries are trying to collaborate. E-commerce is another thing. Digitalization of economy is another thing where the two countries can collaborate and cooperate. And as far as the skill development is concerned, I think if you remember, there has been one kind of issue that Chinese are bringing their labor to Pakistan. And that was the reason, because the Pakistani labor was not really compatible with the Chinese standards which they required in order to work on their projects. So I think from that point onward, they have started trying to develop some kind of a system in Pakistan where the skills needs could be developed. So one of the Chinese international organization, which is Tang International Education Organization, is now helping around 40-50 Pakistani universities, and they are trying to introduce specifically skill related programs, and also they are introducing split degree programs that students can study 2 years here, 1 year in China, and on specific skills. So I think that a lot of things are in the pipeline, and there are a lot of things are moving, and eventually this is going to be a more comprehensive picture which will emerge after a few years.
Wonderful. Dr. Talat, last question as far as this show is concerned. It has also two aspects, and I'd like a short and but very concise answer to that. Firstly, how do you see this transformative journey of CPEC serving as an inspiration for other nations seeking to forge strategic partnership for sustainable development? My second part of the question is, by aligning with global economic trends, do you feel that Pakistan and China can leverage the CPEC to thrive in a contemporary world economic order?
If I say, precisely that I think CPEC, which is a bilateral framework project between China and Pakistan, is not a project that it refers to Pakistan and China, but it's a good model for regional connectivity. First of all, we say this is a hinge between Belt and Road of China's vision. So I think we by developing on CPEC, we can create a regional connectivity framework for the countries of the regions to follow. I think the model, if this CPEC becomes a success, then I think the other corridors that China is thinking, or other initiatives, there are 3 initiatives of China, unleashed recently. They will also get strengthened by the success of CPEC. CPEC, that is why they call it a pilot project, because they expect this project to succeed, and they can build on their development models on this project, given that we both work very hard to make it a success.
Thank you very much to both of my guests, Dr. Fazal Rehman as well as Dr. Talat Shabbir, to have joined us, to have given us your valuable input, and of course your point of view as far as China-Pakistan Economic Corridor, the first decade, and what we should look forward to as far as the next decade is concerned. I feel the relationship between both the countries is extremely important, and the China-Pakistan Economic Corridor comes to be one of the hallmarks of that relationship since the last 10 years. So a lot of eyes are on it, a lot of good eyes, a lot of bad eyes are on it as well. So I think we need to, how should I say that, come up to the challenge and do the needful, so that tomorrow the CPEC is indeed looked upon by all other strategic partners as that hallmark project that created a new chapter as far as Pakistan-China relations are concerned. I'd like, ladies and gentlemen, at the end of it all, to also thank my Chinese side of this show, my co-anchor Yang Chengxi, to have joined us, and CGTN for their collaboration as far as this important program is concerned. And also I'd like to end with one quote and a little thing. We're known as the Iron Brothers, China and Pakistan, and as far as Pakistan's side is concerned, and I'm sure the Chinese side also means the same, this Iron Brother friendship that we have had has been the priority of our diplomacy as far as also the Chinese diplomacy. There's a Chinese proverb that says, "Be not afraid of growing slowly, be afraid only of standing still." That is how I would like to describe the relationship between both the countries, of which the CPEC is going to be that hallmark project, as it has been for the last 10 years. With that, we come to an end of this very special show. I'd like to thank our Chinese viewers and our Pakistani viewers to have joined us for this Pakistan-China's Dosti Zindabad. Allah Hafiz.